Let's begin. It's ridiculous, to say the least.
Accused of marrying a man without him even knowing about it.
Listen to this story. So, a Waco woman is facing charges after marrying her ex-boyfriend without him even knowing.
So, many of you may be shocked to know that you could be legally married without even knowing about it. This is Kristen Spearman. She's 36 years old and she lives in the city of Beverly Hills, Texas, not California. It's a couple of miles outside of Waco, Texas, which most people are familiar with. Now, on June 2nd, 2025, Spearman and her then boyfriend, who's 42 years old, applied for a marriage license. Now, to really understand how this scheme occurred, I have to educate you on family law, specifically what it takes to get married in certain states. Now, I'm going to be speaking about the law very broadly and then very specifically to Texas. Now, in Texas, there are two ways that the state recognizes a marriage. You have formal marriages and you have informal marriages. Now, formal marriages are simple. They require first you and your partner go and get a valid marriage license. Now, to get a marriage license, both parties must appear in person with ID. Now, just because you have the marriage license doesn't mean you're married. Now you have to go through part two, which is a ceremony. Now, the ceremony can be performed by a priest, pastor, or even justice of the peace. Now, after that ceremony is complete with both parties present at the ceremony, then the license is signed and returned to the county clerk's office, which records the marriage for all to see. And at that point, you are legally married. Now, there's also an informal marriage that Texas recognizes, also commonly known as common law marriage. Now, for common law marriage, you can get about the marriage certificate and the ceremony. Only thing you need is two people who are living together and they
Who invented common law? That's the craziest thing of this. Like, somebody really thought to make something like that legal. Like, where our system is so crazy.
Present the intent to be married. And the law also requires them to hold themselves out publicly as husband and wife, as a married couple. Now, if you check those three boxes, then you are officially married informally under Texas law. Now, no matter which way you slice it, either formal or informal marriages, both parties must be present and show intent to be married in both cases. So now that you know all that, let's talk about what happened in this case. See, Kristen Spearman and her boyfriend decided to get married. And the first step on the road to getting married is getting a marriage license. And that's what Kristen and her boyfriend did. They obtained a marriage license.
Well, police say she and her ex had got a marriage license earlier this month, but they broke up after a fight.
He told police that he and Spearman got a marriage license earlier this month, but then broke things off.
So they went through step one, obtaining a marriage license. But unfortunately, they broke things off before they got to step two, which is having the ceremony. Kirsten wanted to be married to this man, but he broke it off. So how could she still get married? She had the license. She had already gone through step one. So she decided to go through step two alone. Now, the law requires that both parties be there at the ceremony to say, I want to be married to this person. But Kirsten was able to trick a priest into marrying her to this man without him being there.
Police say
Explain that shit to me. How do you trick a priest? Explain that to me. Did she suck the priest off or what? Can I get an explanation by how this could possibly happen?
The woman convinced a pastor to officiate the wedding without the man's presence or knowledge.
When I was talking to the lieutenant, I said, I don't think in 23 years I've ever heard of anybody who managed somehow to get married to someone who wasn't present for a
Come on, man.
I've talked to the victim, and he's going through a significant process to try to have to fix this at this point.
So she's done it. She is now married to this guy, but he doesn't know. So what does she do? Well, she then goes and files the marriage license with the state, becomes officially married to this man, and then leaves a copy of the marriage license in a bag on his steps.
Well,
Can you imagine this? This is crazy nut job levels like 1,000. Think about what she just did. She blew the priest, allegedly. Allegedly. We're alleging.
Bruh.
Then, after somehow getting the paperwork, she comes to your house, drops off a bag saying you're fucked for life. Talk to me. What do? What's your next move here? Oh, man, you got checkmated.
police say She and her ex had got a marriage license earlier this month, but they broke up after a fight. Then the woman convinced a pastor to sign them without her ex being there.
So after that, she just filed the license with the county, and police say that her ex found out. This is after she left a gift bag on his doorstep with a copy of the marriage license inside.
So because of this obvious fraud, local officials charged Kristen with third-degree felony stalking.
An unusual wedding in Texas lands the bride in jail.
Kristen Spearman was arrested for third-degree felony stalking.
Wow, justice. That's good. Hey, justice. This man must have had a crazy amount of records. Justice. Woman arrested for stalking. Ex-girlfriend files marriage license. What in the world is happening in the world?
To have had a relationship with her in the past, but that it had ended before the bizarre wedding.
Can you imagine the pipe this dude was slanging? His meat stick was just casting spells. He was like, just like those dudes that are fucking, what are they? What do they call those dudes with the king cobras and shit? Unreal, dude. Got her, not even stalking. Dickmatizes, it's like one way to describe this, the devil D. The snake charmers, yes. Dude is the fucking poon charmer. Got her ass to fake a marriage certificate. Just unbelievable, dude. You can't make this shit. This is like movie stuff. And it's just happening to the dude next door who's got the fucking king cobra. Crazy.
There.
So now you may be thinking, hey, this is fraud. Why did they charge her with stalking? Well, they charged her with third-degree felony stalking under Texas law because the authorities are saying she engaged in a pattern of behavior by falsely filing a marriage certificate and sending it to her ex-boyfriend. She did that to cause him emotional distress. Now, even though there were no physical threats, Texas law defines stalking to include actions that would make a reasonable person feel harassed, alarmed, or threatened. And if you or this guy and you find a package in front of your door with a marriage license saying you're legally married to your crazy ex when you didn't go through the ceremony, that would cause someone to feel alarmed and threatened. Now, prosecutors are seeking anywhere between 2 and 10 years in prison if she's convicted of stalking. Now, Kristen then bailed out of jail and was given a protective order saying that she had to stay away from her victim, her ex-boyfriend. So the first question is this marriage valid? But this marriage is obviously invalid because there was no mutual consent and there was no ceremony.
Wow, is there updates in the comments? This isn't a loophole. This is someone lying and breaking the law. She faces 10 years, but we know because reasons. Yeah, damn. This woman illegally married her ex and some people can't get a text back. Ooh, that's a good one. That's good. Everyone with an evil ex-girlfriend has a new fear-in-law. What's the difference from putting a man's name on a birth certificate knowing he's not the father? Now, this is actually a great question, by the way. What is the difference between claiming somebody is the daddy of that kid who isn't? And the guys actually get screwed completely. The courts, if you don't show up on time to petition and say that's not your kid, you get dumped with the father responsibilities. You have to pay for you can wake up with back tax. There's many men that have woken up owing back taxes on child support for kids that are not theirs. It's insane that this can happen. And then all the stories that we've seen before, it's so fucking hard to get out of the back child support because the state's not going to take the fall for that. And if they can't find a daddy, they're not even incentivized to make the change. They won't. So you can get stuck and then get put in jail on top of that. It's insane. Fighting that is crazy, man. Stories like that really put men off from a marriage in the West completely. The court bias is crazy. The whole fact that, women want to talk the 50-50 shit during divorce court, but when it's dating, it's you need to pay for everything. You need to do everything for it. You ain't a real man, blah, 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 blah. It's fucked. It's fucked from the get-go. It says, I'm glad the pastor's willing to pay for the annulment. The fuck? I don't think he had a choice, bro. The amount of heat he was looking at, of course he was going to pay for that shit. Oopsie. That blowjob wasn't worth it, was it, pastor? Yeah, the pastor should be charged too. I think so. That's fraud. Clear fraud. Oh, boy. Where to even begin?